your weekly view of young leaders taking big steps. This is Next Gen. Presented by PFI, home of Boo Daddy.
Today we are at Missouri 4-H Dairy Cow Camp to learn about the industry and why these young people are so passionate.
So I think this is our 22nd year, actually, of the Missouri 4-H Dairy Cow Camp. And we started the camp all those years ago because we had kids interested in the dairy project, but they were scattered out. We had adults who really didn't know how to help those kids. And so we decided to put a camp together where we could get really 3 days of intensive training and help kids not only learn how to show their dairy animals, but feed them and manage them and all of the things that go along with that. So we do a lot of different workshops throughout that time, and camp has evolved. We started out for the first 20 years being hosted by the Robert Thompson family in Springfield. They actually provided all the calves. This is our second year at the Lawrence County Youth Fairgrounds in Freystadt, and so for the last 2 years, Larry and Jody Wright and their family have provided the cattle. So we're fortunate we've been able to continue the camp. It remains popular. It's not just for state of Missouri kids. We draw kids from several states, and there's always a lot of interest. We have rarely had a camp year when we didn't meet our maximum capacity of campers.
Well, and these campers are ranging from, I would say 7, 8, 9 years old all the way up through high school. And then some of these collegiates are coming back to help out. So take me through a day in the life of a dairy cow camper.
Okay, so we start at age 8. And when the campers arrive, we actually get them to choose a partner. We help them choose a calf that kind of suits their experience and their age. And so they are responsible for taking care of that animal throughout the 3 days of the camp. So they're responsible for washing and feeding and clipping, and they practice leading the animal and all the things that go along with getting an animal ready for the show ring.
Well, today they're rotating through workshops where they can learn about ear tagging and vaccinating and clipping and judging. So let's take me through each one of those and what the kind of take-home message and the purpose is for these young people.
Well, we try to design workshops that not only help them prepare their animal for the show ring, but also the management side. And then in Missouri, we have a requirement that they do a quality assurance program. And so we actually do workshops to certify them in that. So things like disease management, grow management, learning how to give a proper injection, things like that are all a part of that Show Me Quality Assurance program. We try to make our workshops timely and really just help them grow through the project.
So Laura, you started out here at Cow Camp as one of these youngsters running around and now help lead it. So take me through how you got involved from the very beginning.
So I started at Cow Camp as a camper, came to learn skills and gain the knowledge that I'm now able to impart on youth. And the knowledge that I've been given has really benefited me throughout my life, just being able to fit my own animals and know different parts and facets of the dairy industry. The workshops have always been very intriguing and helpful. And so now I'm able to kind of help and facilitate in those things and to kind of counsel. Being able to teach and impart the things that I've learned and know how beneficial they've been to me is something that's really important for me to be able to give to the youth kind of coming up in the industry, especially since it's not quite as large as it used to be in this state. And so being able to teach 40+ youth in 3 days a great deal about the industry is a really awesome opportunity that I'm excited to be a part of every year.
So today, what's your role? What knowledge are you instilling into these young people?
So specifically the workshops that I've run for the past several years, I always run a showmanship workshop. So showmanship is a class that we have, and it's what we do here at Cow Camp. At the culmination of kind of the event is a showmanship contest where each kid shows the knowledge that they've learned throughout the camp and shows the ability of working with their animals. So showmanship is really the judge is judging you and your ability and your knowledge of handling your animal and being able to deal with and kind of your knowledge of the industry too.
So when these kids, walk away from Cow Camp this year, and this event has been going on for decades now.
Yes.
What do you want them to go home with? What do you want them to take back to their home operations, to their farms, so that they can put into practice?
So I think probably the biggest thing that I hope that the youth gain from this activity and experience is just a knowledge and appreciation for the dairy industry and just really wanting them to get involved and be excited about it. So it's really cool to see kids kind of learn what they like to do, and if this is their thing, great. If not, at least they've learned about the industry and have an appreciation for it.
So what type of benefit does this event, this cow camp, have on these young people beyond them taking this back to the farm and showing their own livestock, beyond high school, beyond into future careers in the industry?
That's a great question, and we actually surveyed several former cow campers a few years ago. And it's really about developing life skills. So they have a partner, they learn teamwork and cooperation. We have a schedule, so they learn about time management and managing their resources. They learn things like responsibility. There's a whole host of life skills that they actually gain just in the 3 days that we're here at Cow Camp. So while they're gaining industry knowledge that will help them not only with their project but also at home on their farm, they're also gaining valuable interpersonal skills. We do an intro to judging workshop, and we actually, for a lot of kids, take their very first set of oral reasons. So they're learning public speaking skills, they're learning how to defend their decisions. And so those are all things that kids have told us years later, I learned how to do this at Cow Camp.
So beyond Missouri 4-H and the University of Missouri Extension, you have a whole team of partners that make this possible for these young people.
We absolutely have a ton of industry support. We have organizations and businesses that provide people to do workshops. They come in and teach the kids and interact with them, spend time with them. And we've been very, very fortunate to have the industry really say, we think what you're doing is valuable. We want to help you do that every year.
So, you have over 40 young people here, and the chances of them all going to work within the dairy industry might be kind of slim, but I know that one of the luncheon speakers were talking about careers in the industry and what opportunities they have.
We actually have focused on that almost every year, at least with one speaker, that really shows the kids you can be a part of this industry without being involved in the production side. There are so many aligned careers that are a part of agriculture, everything from being on the inspection side to the equipment side to being in the media side. And so we try to really give them a wide variety of career opportunities for them to look at and see if it's something that they want to do in the future.
So I think it's now time to go meet some of those young people and see what they've learned this week.
Yeah.
So Molly, I understand that you've been coming to Cow Camp for a couple years. How many?
3.
3 years. And over those 3 years, take me through a little bit about what you've learned.
Well, my first year here, I didn't really know much about clipping, and they run you through from the basics to experience levels of what you need to know about clipping and fitting. And another thing I've learned is they have a bunch of workshops like tools ID and injections and things like that you wouldn't really think you would learn at a camp like this, but you do, and they just make sure to include a little bit of everything.
So what keeps you coming back year after year?
Well, I've been showing for the past 5 years, so and every year I just learn something new. No matter how many years you've been coming here, there's always new and fun. So.
And what would you say is your favorite part?
I think my favorite part is working with the heifers and getting to know them and their personality.
So Reagan, I understand it's your very first cow camp.
Yes.
And do you have dairy cows at home?
Yes.
And I understand that you've grown up showing beef cattle, and now you're learning how to show
Show
dairy
dairy
cattle.
cattle.
So what's the difference?
With beef cattle, you use a show stick, but with dairy cattle, you don't. So how to set up their feet is you have to push on their spine, and that makes them set up straight. With beef cattle, you don't put your hand in the halter, and with dairy cattle, you do put your hand in the halter.
And I understand that you've got to do some grooming or clipping of the cattle. So how do you clip a dairy cow?
So you'll get a show razor, and then how to clip them is you'll start from their belly and you'll move up to their top, and you have to make sure you get all the hairs off. And
with beef cattle, you want them to have a lot of hair, and
yeah.
dairy cattle, you don't, do you?
No.
So do you think that you'll come to cow camp again?
Yeah. It's a really fun thing to do.